Okay, so today we are starting with the Yoga of the Supreme Person, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15. So before we proceed into the class, let us please take the blessings of the beautiful deities of Sri Radha Govinda ji. Sri Radha Govinda ji ki jai. Okay, so these are the chapters that we covered in 14. So now in 15, 15.1 to 5, probably we'll try to complete till 11, depending on the time. Okay, so in section A, from 15.1.5, 1.1, I mean 15.1 to 15.5, becoming detached from the material world. Okay, how we can become detached from the material world and how the spiritual world looks. So they'll describe the spiritual world. Okay, and in section B, 6 to 11, we'll see Purushottama Yoga. Okay, the transmigration. Okay, how the soul from one body to another body, how he transmigrates. Okay, 15.12, section C to 15, we'll see Purushottama Yoga, Krishna's position as the maintainer. And in D 16 to 20, we'll see Purushottama Yoga, the three shloka Bhagavad Gita summarizing the Vedas and the Vedanta kinds of living entities. Okay. So actually, this chapter 15, Purushottama Yoga, we recite during this Purushottam Mass. If you are all have an idea, in ISKCON, like 3 years or so, 3-4 years, we get this extra month, which we call it as Malamas. Everybody, nobody does any pious activity or punya karma during this time. Like they don't do any good activities like any housewarming or marriages or anything. But we consider it very auspicious. So we especially celebrate the 1 month of Purushottam Mass by reading this, especially this chapter 15 we read, and we do a lot of spiritual activities like more of chanting, more of reading, and more of seva. Okay, so especially during that Purushottam Mass, we do these. I mean, it comes during the Chaturmas only, during this time. It is that extra 1 month which gets carried forward, and then that after a period of 3-4 years, it becomes, those days get accumulated, and that 1 month is called the Malamas. Okay, everybody doesn't do anything good, but only spiritual people, especially ISKCON, they celebrate Purushottam Mass as a mass where they increase their spiritual activities. Okay, so now let's go on into the chapter. So 1 to 5, we see how becoming detached from the material world, the reflection of the spiritual world. What is material world actually? Whatever we see here is nothing but the reflection of the original spiritual world. Okay, so please try to understand. Actually, there is a spiritual world, and because we all rebelled, like we said, we want to be the individual enjoyer, leaving Krishna. Okay, so we didn't want to serve Krishna. So we said, why should we? Why we also want to be master like you, Krishna? We also want to enjoy. Why should we be enjoyed? So we want to also enjoy. We want to become masters. But Krishna says, no, you can't become the master. You are created to serve me. Okay, so your constitutional position is to serve me. So you get happiness only when you serve me, not when you become master. And anyway, in Goloka Vrindavan, nobody can be the master except Krishna, right? So what does Krishna do? Even after so much convincing, these people, they don't understand. They don't agree. They say, no, we can't. We don't want no Krishna. We want to be the enjoyers, separate from you. So then Krishna, so in that big spiritual world, he creates a small material world. Now we told you, right? With that Prakriti, material nature, he expands into and creates a space called Mahatattva. Okay, in that Mahatattva, the whole cosmic manifestation takes place. Okay, so in that spiritual world, he creates a small place. Okay, so this place is totally in darkness. This Mahatattva is totally in darkness. The Lord's, like generally what we say, the spiritual world is illuminated by the effulgence of coming out from the Lord's body. But this Mahatattva, that small place, that spiritual world, that material world, in the spiritual world, that part, that Mahatattva part is in darkness. It covers so that the light doesn't pass. Because it's like a jail, right? How is a jail? Is a jail like a disco or something full of lights? No, right? The jail is very dark, no light, it's horrible, like that. So that's why no light, the spiritual effulgence doesn't enter this Mahatattva. Okay, so that's what they're trying. I mean, like they're trying to say. This is like it's like how, see, when the small girl is there, she comes to her mother. She sees her mother cooking, so she says, "Mama, mama, 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 I also want to cook." But the mother knows that, oh no, she can't. She'll burn her hands if she comes to the stove and she does all this. What she does? She doesn't listen. No, no, I want to cook. Then what the mother does? She goes outside. And in the olden days, I mean, I don't know whether you all, I think you must be familiar. The girl child, they get all these small pots, small spoons, small stove, small fridge, small chapati maker, roller, everything we used to have. We used to get it in one kit. So she gives all those things. So now you cook. So that's like a namuna, right? That's not the original. Original is what mother was cooking. But now she gave a replica, right? So saying, but so the child now she enjoys cooking. She thinks she's cooking. She's cooking rice. She's making chapati. She's storing everything in the fridge and everything. She's happy now. So like that for us, because we didn't listen when we were in the spiritual world, like the small child. So Krishna, he created this material world where we are thinking we are really enjoying like that small child with those artificial instruments, like how she is happy, she's thinking she's cooking. We are happy thinking we are happy here, thinking that we are really happy here. Okay, so like that, Krishna also creates this material world for us to enjoy. Okay, so that is the actually story why this material world was created. So that is the reason actually this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So that is the original thing. Here we are seeing is the perverted reflection. Okay, so now let's see the first sloka. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvamulam Adashakam Ashwattam Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedavet. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Okay, so you see the shloka, you see in the picture, right? I'll just enlarge it a bit for you. Okay, so actually, this is the replica. They're just trying to, I mean, like compare to a what the material world. They are comparing to a inverted banyan tree. See, there is a real tree, original tree in the spiritual world. When you see the replica, see when you see in the material world itself, when you see a reflection of a tree in a water, how does it appear? The branches which are on the top appear downwards and the roots appear upward. Correct? It's like the exactly like this one here. See in the picture, you can see right the banyan tree. You can see the roots on which Brahma is sitting. That is the root. Roots upward, and you can see the branches downward. Correct? So like that. So we are this material world. There is a tree, original tree in the spiritual world. Okay, and that tree in water. So the water you can see is right. What is that water? It is the water of desire. See, because we've desired to be separate and we want to enjoy separate from Krishna, right? So that is the desire of water. So in that water of reflection, if we see the tree, the that is the material world that we are seeing here now. It is the roots are upward, so it is inverted, right? Ulta it becomes in the reflection. So you can see the roots upward and the branches downward. Okay, so please try to understand in the picture. I hope you are getting a understanding. Okay, how the reflection is opposite. Original tree is in Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, and you are seeing the reflection of it, of this banyan tree, under the desire of water, because we all had this desire to be separate from Krishna and enjoy separate from Krishna. We wanted to be masters. So when you see that reflection of the tree, you see the reflection, it will be ulta, right? The branches will be downwards, okay? And then the roots will be upward. So that's what they're showing here. Okay, so now let's go into detail one by one point, like in what Prabhupada says in the purport. Depending on that, we'll understand. Okay, so in this section of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna talks about material world. Okay, how a living entity gets entangled in this material world, spiritual world, which is the actual source of the material world. Okay, so this material world is not just as it is like that, it has come. This material world is the reflection of the spiritual world. If the spiritual world is not there, this is material world is not there. See, if the original thing is not there, how can you see the reflection in water? You can't see, right? So this is like a reflection. Okay, the the spiritual world, which is the actual source of the material world, and the need for developing attachment. So that this is the place, the material world is the place where attachment happens. Okay. Now that is why they're giving this analogy. They are comparing the spiritual world and the material world with the banyan tree. Okay, analogy is given. So the banyan tree is the original banyan tree is in Goloka, and what we are seeing here is this reflection here in this picture. Okay, the reflection of that tree. So is the analogy of a banyan tree is used to show the material world in a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. What I'll do is after the class is over, I will share this chapter 15 PPT also. Okay, and then you can see and you can come back with your doubts tomorrow. Okay, because I'm sure the first four slokas you'll definitely have doubts. So that's why I will give you the pictures and everything, the PPT. So you please refer and you go through Prabhupada's purport also. And please come back with your doubts tomorrow so that we can get a more clear understanding. Okay. The analogy of a banyan tree is used to show how the material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Okay. So lessons that can be learned from this analogy are, so what we can learn, about the material world. So Lord Krishna compares the material world to an inverted banyan tree with its roots upwards and branches downward. Okay. So because it is being reflected on the water. Till here, I hope we are on the same page. So in the reflection, we see everything ulta, right? So that's why the roots are upwards and the branches are downwards. So this can be seen of a tree standing on the bank of a body of water. So when we see on the bank of a water, the tree will be like that, ulta. The desires of the living entities are compared to the water. So the water is nothing but the desires. Okay. Because of those desires, this material world appeared. Right. So that is the desire of water. Okay, desires are the cause where the living beings are situated, right? Because they had this desire, because they wanted to be the master. The main reason the material world is created is because we had that desire to enjoy separate from Krishna. We wanted to enjoy like Krishna. Okay, so that is why this material world is created. Otherwise, there is no need of this material world at all. Because if everybody was happily serving Krishna, what is the need of this world here? Nothing, right? So desire is the main reason. They had this desire, they wanted to enjoy separate from Krishna. That's why this material world had to be created. A living being performing fruitive activities is like a bird jumping from branch to branch, enjoying the fruits of the tree, which are dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Okay, so you heard, we can see many branches, right, in the picture. So what the person is doing, he is jumping here, see, he is jumping from branch to branch, and he is enjoying what? See, you can see, right, economic development, religiosity, sense gratification. See, I hope you can see it more clearly here. Okay, so he's jumping from branch to branch, the man, and he's enjoying what? He's doing economic development, religiosity, sense gratification. All this he's doing. Okay, he's jumping from one branch to branch and he's doing everything. We generally dharma, artha, kama we do, right? So he's doing all that. Okay. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, liberation. So the material world is not only unreal and perverted reflection of the spiritual world, but it is temporary. See, a reflection when you see, it is not real, right? You can't touch it. It is unreal. Obviously, it is perverted reflection. Perverted reflection in the sense it is quite opposite. See, for instance, in Goloka, it is full of love. So, perverted reflection, what should be here? Here it will be lust. Okay, there everything is happiness. Perverted reflection here is everything opposite will happen. Though it is a reflection, everything is like ulta, opposite. Okay, their love, Goloka, here lust. They're full of happiness. Here, everything ulta, what? Full of sadness, difficulties, everything. There, everything is permanent. Here, temporary. Okay, so everything is like a reflection but opposite. Okay, like that. A tree, and a tree is not going to live forever. They're trying to show that the tree is not does not stay forever, right? It's not going to live forever. Similarly, all the living entities wandering in the material world are not going to be situated in at one place. Correct, right? So when we are born in this material world, we keep wandering, depending on our consciousness. We keep wandering from one body to another body. Okay, depending on our consciousness. Okay, so based on our karma, on their activities, there are two possibilities. What are those two possibilities? Some living entities might get liberated from the clutches of material energy and go back to the spiritual world. So one category of people is they can take to Krishna consciousness and they can go back to the spiritual world. And what is the second category? Other living beings are either promoted or thrown down into lower planetary system or lower species of life. See, other people are those people who do karma kanda. If they do pious activities, they will go to higher planets. If they do sinful activities, they'll go to lower things. If they do if they do like if they're in the mode of passion, then they do both sinful and what do you say, pious, both. So they come back to this earthly planet. Okay, so like that. So no living entity, right from Lord Brahma to an insignificant ant, will live forever. So we know, right? Anything you take in this material world, it has a start and an end date, including the cosmic manifestation as a whole itself. Because at the time of Pralaya, the whole cosmic manifestation is washed away. So everything in the this thing has a start and an end date. Okay, so both have a no living entity, even right from Brahma. Even though Brahma's lifespan is how much, 3.14 trillion years, something. I'm sorry, I don't remember. So 3.14 trillion years. So that much, even though he has such a big lifespan, he will have to die when his 100 years come. He will have to leave his body. Okay, he will not live forever ever. Brahma is also a living entity. Okay, both have a duration of lifespan after which they have to take birth in a different body. Lord has said this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So it's a temple of miseries. This material world, dukkha alayam. It's a temple of miseries. Okay, so don't expect everything will be perfect, fine here. Okay, Krishna himself, who's created this place, this material world, he himself is saying it is dukkhalayam. So please don't expect that there will not be miseries. If I am coming to Krishna, if all my miseries will go away, don't expect that. Definitely, Krishna, he will not. The difficulties will be there, but what is the difference when you come to Krishna consciousness? Krishna gives us the strength to get out of that situation. I mean, he will give us the strength to sustain that situation. That situation, difficult situation, will not go anywhere. But because we are in Krishna consciousness, we know how Krishna is great. So we should not tell the problem how we should tell the problem how great Krishna is. Okay, not the reverse. Okay, so we should be confident that Krishna will give us the strength or Krishna will protect us, whatever it is, Krishna will take care. So that confidence we should have. Okay, problems will not go, problems will come for sure. Okay, don't think because I'm doing Krishna consciousness, I'll be peaceful, no difficulties, nothing, everything will go away. No. In fact, you'll get more difficulties because you're coming into Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna will test you. Because going to the spiritual world is no cakes walk. Okay, Maya Devi will give us many, many, many tests. If you pass all those tests only, you will be able to go to Krishna. Okay, otherwise it's very difficult. You will have to take the same test again and again. See, like for example, if a child fails in fourth class, till he passes, he has to write the same thing, right? Otherwise, he can't go to the next level. So, like that, until we'll be given the same test again and again till we pass that test. Okay, and then once we pass the fourth class, then fifth class, again fifth, there'll be one more test. You have to pass that. See, in the material world itself, we have to pass so many tests. How about when you're going to the eternal spiritual world? So how can we expect like there'll be no difficulties? There will surely be difficulties, especially after you take to Krishna consciousness. Okay, so be prepared for that. So everything that we see in this material world actually exists in spiritual world. Okay, see everything that we see because it is a reflection. Obviously, the original place, original things, is spiritual world. So everything is like a reflection. So whatever we see here, definitely it is there in the spiritual world, right? It is already there. All the birds, the animals, everything that we see here, everything, trees, everything is there. But in a much, much better condition, it will be there over there. Okay. Like how we said, right? This material world is opposite. Even though it is reflection, it is opposite, right? Like that. The form and quality in spiritual world is completely different. It is made of Sat Chit Ananda, eternity, eternality, knowledge, and bliss. So it is Satchidananda. It is Sat means eternal. Chit means full of knowledge. Ananda means bliss, happiness. So the spiritual world is made up of Sat Chit Ananda. It is eternal, it is full of knowledge and bliss. So nothing in the spiritual world is formless, without any qualities. So existing as impersonal light. So they are saying that everything in the spiritual world, nothing is formless. Actually, even if you take the rasgulla, even it has life. Even and they want to serve the trees, they have life. They want to serve Krishna and Balram. Everything has life. The water has life, the stones have life, the grass has life, the milk has life. Okay, so everything has life over there. Everything there, every particular thing over there in the spiritual world has life, and their goal is to please Krishna somehow or the other. Okay, so it is very much personal. It is not impersonal light or something. Okay. So the leaves of the tree are compared to Vedic hymns. We saw the banyan tree, right? So the leaves of the banyan tree are compared to Vedic hymns. And the living entity, he is hopping from branch to branch, trying to taste the fruits called, we saw this, right? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. One should not become bewildered by the leaves and fruits of enjoyment. So that's what they're saying. See, if we become bewildered, we attached to the fruits of enjoyment. So we get attached to this material world. See, when we do things for our own sense gratification, we get attached to this material world because everything you think that in this material world is for my pleasure. Okay, so this house is mine, this wife is mine, these are my children, they are my relatives, this is my society, this is my country. So you tend to say connect everything with yourself. You think you are the enjoyer, you are the master. Okay, and you say that I this is my property, this is mine, I want that. Nobody can take that. That is mine only. Like that. Okay. So one needs to understand the purpose of the Vedas, which is to know the Lord, the compiler of the Vedanta. So generally, what do people do when Vedas come? They just only read the Vedic rituals. Like if you do this, if you do this pious act, you will get this punya. If you do this sacrifice, you will get this punya. They think they mainly perform these Vedic sacrifice. That is the reason. Okay, they want to go to heavenly planets. Most of them don't even know that there is a spiritual planet where if you go there, you will stay eternally there. Many of them don't know. They just know only these two, heaven, hell. That's all. So that's why they wish to go to the heavenly planets where they can live comfortably. So they, per the Vedas, they do all these sacrifices, yajnas, to please the demigods, and because of which they go to heavenly planets. But that is just the rituals are just a part. The Vedas are just a part. That rituals that are shown in the Vedas is just a small part. But the main part is to know about the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, who is the compiler of the Vedanta. Who is the compiler of Vedanta? It's Vyasadeva, right? He's the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Okay, so we have to know the Lord through the Vedas. It is not the rituals that we have to know. Okay, so 1 second. Yeah. So I just want to read the purport also. Okay. Um, After the discussion of importance of Bhakti Yoga, one may question, what about the Vedas? It is explained in this chapter that the purpose of Vedic study is to understand Krishna. Okay, so we read that, right? Therefore, one who is in Krishna consciousness, who is engaged in devotional service, already knows the Vedas. See, we've read right in the Bhagavad Gita, if we do Krishna consciousness, we are like doing all these rituals, all the donations, all the charities, all the yagnas, everything we are doing. We don't have to separately do all these charities, yagnas, sacrifices, rituals. Nothing is needed. All, if you just satisfy, if you do devotional service to Krishna, everything is included. Okay, so they know the Vedas, everything they know. Okay, therefore, one who is in Krishna consciousness, who is engaged in devotional service, already knows the Vedas. The entanglement of this material world is compared here to a banyan tree. So, the banyan tree you saw, right? Originally, also, if you see in the material world, how complicated the banyan tree is, right? You see the roots coming from top, and again that root goes into the ground, and from the ground, another tree comes. It's like you don't know where the starting point of that tree is. It is so confusing, it's so entangling. We don't know where the actual the tree is. Sometimes the banyan tree extends up to 1000 kilometers. We don't know where the starting point of that tree is. So that's why it is compared. This material world is compared to a banyan tree. So we are so much entangled. We don't know like where we are when we started in this journey of all the 84 lakh species, and when it will end, we don't know. It is going on since time immemorial. Going on, we are changing bodies, changing bodies, changing bodies. We don't know when there is a starting, when there is an ending. Okay, so he wanders from one branch to another, to another, to another. So he's just shifting from one branch, he's doing economic development, he's doing sense gratification. So he's doing everything, whatever needs to be done for his satisfaction. Okay, the tree of this material world has no end, and for one who is attached to this tree, there is no possibility of liberation. Okay, so that's what they're saying. It has no end. We don't know like where is the end for the jivas. Like from many janmas, they are roaming so much. They're entangled. They're attached to sense gratification and all this. So they are so attached to this tree. So there is no possibility of liberation. The Vedic hymns meant for elevating oneself are called the leaves of this tree. Okay, some do sacrifices, right? So if they want to elevate themselves, they do these. So they are called the leaves of the tree. They're representing each. The leaves are called the Vedic hymns. Okay, this tree's roots grow upward. Okay, we saw the reflection, right? Roots grow upward because they begin from where Brahma is located. Because the highest most planet is Brahmaloka, right? So that's why they're trying to show the starting of the roots there. Okay, from the topmost universe. So if one can understand this indestructible tree of illusion, then one can get out of it. Okay, so if you understand this banyan tree analogy, then you will get out of entanglement. So this process of extrication should be understood. In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of material entanglement. And up to the 13th chapter, we have seen that devotional service to Supreme Lord is the best way. So we saw many ways, right? Dhyana Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. So we saw many ways. Okay. But the best in 13th chapter, we've seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best way. Okay. Now, the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to the transcendental service of the Lord. The process of breaking attachment to the material world is discussed in the beginning of this chapter. That is what that I'm saying. How to get disentangled from this material world. The root of this material existence grows upward. So we saw in the picture, right? The roots are growing. You saw where Brahma was sitting, right? So the roots are going upward. This means that it begins from the total material substance from the topmost planet of the universe. Okay, that is Brahmaloka. From there, the whole universe is expanded with so many branches representing the various planetary system. So from there, so that is first we know that like from Brahma's this thing, from Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, first the lotus was created and Brahma was sitting there, right, on that. So that is the first, Brahma is the first Jiva who has come into existence. Okay, so that is the topmost planet also, because we see, right, from the navel till the Brahmaloka, that stem is there. So in that stem, the 14 planetary systems are there. Okay, so the topmost is Brahmaloka in that. So that's why they're showing the roots upward to show that that is the topmost planet in the material world. Okay. So this means that it begins from the total material substance from the topmost planet of the universe. From there, the whole universe is expanded with so many branches representing the various planetary systems. Okay. So after that, we come to know that there are so many planetary systems, right? They are hellish planets and heavenly planets. We know all that, right? So different planetary systems are there. So those, the branches of the tree are there, right? They represent the different planetary systems. Okay. Here in that banyan tree, the branches represent the planetary systems, the 14 planetary systems. Okay. The fruits represent the results of the living entities. The tree, banyan tree gives some fruits, right? Those fruits are the results of what the living entity, he does some karma, right? Those are the fruits. Namely, we saw, right? Economic development, sense gratification, liberation, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So whatever he does, he gets some reaction, right? Those are the fruits that he enjoys. Okay, that is karma. Now, there is no ready experience in this world of a tree with its branches downward and its root upward. But there is such a thing. Okay, so we can never see, we never saw a tree with roots upwards and branches downward, except in the reflection. But real, we don't see, right? That tree can be found beside a reservoir of water. So generally, if you see the reflection down like that, the original must be somewhere near the bank of the water, right? So if you stand near the bank of the water and see the reflection of that tree, then you can see the reflection, like the branches are downwards and the roots are upward. Okay, so we can see that the trees on the bank reflect upon the water with their branches down and roots up. Okay, so in other words, the tree of this material world is only a reflection of the real tree of the spiritual world. So that is what we were discussing, right? So this material, this tree, banyan tree that we see is just a reflection of the original tree in the spiritual world. Okay, they're just giving an analogy. So the real thing exists in the spiritual world. This is just a reflection. This is not real, it is a reflection. That is why they say this is Maya, illusion. It appears that like everything is happening like that. But see, it's like in a desert, when you feel thirsty, you feel like from far, you think that that is an oasis. But when you go near it, it's like a mirage. There will be no water. Does it mean that there is no water in the desert? No, water is there, right? It's not always a mirage, right? So like that, okay. So a desire, the okay, this reflection of the spiritual world is situated on desire. So we read this right in the Prabhupada's purport in the PPT. Just as a tree's reflection is situated on water. Okay, this desire, material tree is based on the desire. Just like water, we see the reflection, right? The reflection. The material world is based on the water of desire. Because of a desire, this material world came into existence. One who wants to get out of this material existence must know this tree thoroughly through analytical study. Then he can cut off his relationship with it. Okay, so if he knows the tree of this analogy of this banyan tree, then he will be able to cut that tree itself. Okay, disentangle. This tree, being the reflection of the real tree, is an exact replica. Okay, it is the same thing, but quite opposite. The behavior is opposite. So everything is there in the spiritual world. The impersonalists take Brahman to be the root of this material tree. Okay, but the impersonalists, the main root, see, in a tree, there'll be one primary root. And from the primary root, you get secondary roots. Okay, and from secondary roots, again, you get subsidiary roots. Okay, so the main root that we see, right, where Brahma is sitting, it goes upward, right? So it keeps on going upward, upward, upward. So the impersonalists take Brahman to be the root of this material tree. So they think that that main root is the cause. So that is God, Brahman. And from the main root, according to Sankhya philosophy, come Prakriti, Purusha, then the three gunas, then the five gross elements. We saw that, right? Mahatattva. Okay, all these things come. First, the subtle elements come out, then the gross elements, Pancha Mahabhutas, all, everything come, and the whole cosmic manifestation comes, right? And if Brahman is the center of all manifestation, then this material world is a manifestation of the center by 180 degrees, and the other 180 degrees constitutes the spiritual world. So that's what they're saying. 360 degrees, like if you take a round circle, see one side, if you see, generally, if you put a protractor and you see the reflection of the protractor, the same thing ulta, it will be like a complete circle when you see both together, right? So that's what they're saying. So the upper half is the spiritual world, okay, and the if you like if you rotate 180 degrees, the same thing below you'll see is like the material world. Okay, so then this material world is a manifestation of the center by 180 degrees, and the other 180 degrees constitute the spiritual world. Okay, the material world is the perverted reflection. So the spiritual world must have the same variegatedness, but in reality. Okay, so many people think that, oh, there is so much variety here in this material world. They are saying spiritual world, spiritual world. I don't know, I've never seen spiritual world. What is, will all so much variety will be there in the spiritual world or what? And they get worried. Let me enjoy, that's why, because I don't know whether it will be there or not. So let me enjoy here only. See, because if I have to go somewhere, I take an aeroplane and go. I don't know how I will go there. So they're very worried actually. But you should know that there is in fact more variegatedness than here, because that is the original place. This is just a reflection of the original. Okay. The spiritual world must have the same, whatever varieties are there, but it will be there. But in reality, see, for example, if there is a tree near the apple tree near the bank of a tree, and when you see in the reflection, you can see the same apple tree reflected, right? But when you go into the water and when you try to break an apple from the reflection, will you be able to take the apple? No, right? You can't take the apple. That is illusory. So that is what. Only if you go to the original tree can you go and break it, then you can eat the apple and can enjoy the taste. So like that, they are telling here. See, the material world is the perverted reflection. So the spiritual world must have the same variety, but in reality, we want the real thing, right? Where is there happiness in taking the apple in the water, the reflection of the water? No. Happiness is when you go to the original apple tree and you pluck the apple and you eat it. So that's what they're saying. That is why you get real happiness when you go to the spiritual world. This is just Brahma, Maya. We are put in Maya so that we realize that, oh, what we've done is wrong. We are not the enjoyers, actually. Krishna is the enjoyer. We have to, that's why practice devotional service and go back to God. So to remove that Brahma from us, that we are not the enjoyers, we come into this reflected, perverted world. Okay? So Krishna, just like how the mother gives that small sample, right? And she's happily enjoying, we are also happily enjoying without knowing what is the purpose of life. Okay, we're settling here. Unless the gurus or the shastras, I mean, like they come and tell us, oh no, you're staying in a place of dukkhalayam, and then we come to these classes and then we know that we are suffering here actually. Otherwise, we don't know we are even suffering also. We think that everybody is passing through the same phase like this. They get married, they get children, their children go to school again, they become big, they get married, they have children. It's the same routine is going on everybody's house. We think that, oh, the same thing everybody is doing, let me also do. And we just continue. They are also suffering, I am also suffering. What is the big deal? We think like that and we continue our life. So we don't know that this is actually dukkhalayam. Here you will have only dukkhas. If someone comes and tells you in this material world only, there is a place where you won't die, where there is no disease, will you not run away from this place? Immediately we'll all run away. So now that's why they're saying, Krishna is saying there is a place called, original place, the spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan, where everything is real. This is just a reflection. That is why you are thinking you're enjoying, but you're not enjoying actually. Okay, what you're calling enjoyment is just a relief from pain. So you have so many pain, then pleasure, pain, pleasure. So in that gap, you're thinking that pleasure is like happiness. But that is not real happiness. It's like in a desert, one drop of water if you get to drink. Is that happiness? No, right? So that's exactly what we are trying to tell. Okay, so this manifestation is in material. It is temporary. So this cosmic manifestation is temporary. A reflection is temporary, for it is sometimes seen and sometimes not seen. Okay, but sometimes reflection, when you throw a stone in the water, you can't see the reflection. So a reflection is temporary, like that. This cosmic manifestation, sometimes it is manifest, sometimes unmanifest. We know, right? When pralaya comes, it is unmanifest, and again it comes, again it goes. So it is temporary. Okay, so that's why it's called a reflection. So when you throw a stone in water, and then you can't see the reflection of the tree. So you can't. So it is no longer there. Okay, so that's why they're telling a reflection is temporary, for it is sometimes seen, sometimes not seen. Okay, so like that, the material world, it is manifest and unmanifest at the time of pralaya, and manifest again at the time of creation. But the origin from whence the reflection is reflected is eternal. Okay, but the original tree, that is eternal. But the origin from whence the reflection is reflected, that is eternal. The original tree is, that is the eternal. Okay, the material reflection of the real tree has to be cut off. So this the material tree, that reflection, that has to be cut off. That tree has to be cut off. When it is said that, because that is causing us more attachment, right? Being in this material world, the roots are going downwards. Actually, the roots have to go upward to God. Okay, to Goloka Vrindavan, they have to go. But what is happening? The primary root is going up, but all the secondary roots are there, right? They are going downwards. Secondary roots and subsidiary roots, that we call, right? They are going downward. Means you're getting more attached to this material world, we actually have to go up. The roots have to go up. So we see that the roots of the initial primary root is where Brahma is sitting, right? But the remaining secondary roots, they are coming down, which means that we are getting more entangled in this material world. Okay, so and subsidiary roots are like even more we are getting attached. Subsidiary roots means the secondary roots are further distributed. Okay, more deep like that. So we are getting more and more down, down, down. We are coming and more we are getting attached. But we should come up, and then we should go above, and then we should go back to the God to that permanent place, spiritual place. So that is why the roots should not come downward. The more down you go, down you go, the more you get attached. Okay, the more it is difficult for you to get disentangled. Okay, so when it is said that a person knows the Vedas, it is assumed that he knows how to cut off attachment to the to this material world. Obviously, when a person knows the Vedas, we know how he can get out of this material world. He knows how to cut off that entanglement. If one knows that process, he actually knows the Vedas. One who's attracted by the ritualistic formulas of the Vedas is attracted by the beautiful green leaves of the tree. He does not exactly know the purpose of the Vedas. The purpose of the Vedas, as disclosed by the personality of Godhead himself, is to cut down this reflected tree and attain the real tree of the spiritual world. So they are telling Vedas is not for performing rituals and just staying happy, doing pious activities, going to heavenly planets. Not that. The purpose of the Veda is to know Krishna, to know that we are entangled in this material world, in this material tree. We are entangled. So we have to cut off this tree and get out and go back to the original tree that is in the spiritual world. Okay, so that is the thing. So now let's see. Okay, so the different routes we were talking about, right? We saw the main route on which Brahma was sitting. It is going upwards. Okay, that is the primary route. So that is the origin of the tree. Okay, located upwards, symbolizing the source of Supreme Lord. So the primary root, it always grows upward. You know that, right? Primary root goes into the trunk and trunk goes upward. Okay, but the remaining secondary roots, they go downward, right? You have experience of that, right? So exactly, you've seen the reflected banyan tree. So the primary root is going upward, and the secondary roots, they are coming downwards, and the subsidiary roots are coming downwards. Okay, see, all other roots, branches and leaves are derived from the root, from that main root, right? So all the branches, they come because when the trunk grows, again the branches grow, and then the leaves and everything comes out. Okay, right, from the main root. And next we have secondary root. Okay, secondary branches come out. So these are like the immediate roots growing downwards. So one primary root we have, from primary root we have secondary roots. Okay, so in the secondary root, it represents the living entities, jiva. So even though the primary root is upwards towards the source, it is going upward. The secondary roots are going downwards into the material world. Why downwards? You must be wondering. See, why the primary root is going upward and why the secondary is going downward? Because they are bound by material nature. See, the more down they go, the roots means what? The grip of the tree is in the roots. So that if the roots go more and more and deeper into the earth, you know that the grip is more strong. It means that we are getting our attachment, material entanglement is getting more and more when the roots are going down, down, down. So we should not get entangled like that. Okay, so they are going, why they are going downwards? Because they are entangled to this material world. Okay, because they are bound by material nature, prakriti, and extend into the manifested perishable world. So they are getting more and more and more entangled because of sense gratification, because they are attached to their body, their relatives, their wife, children, property, land, everything, money. So more deeper, more down, 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 they're going and they're getting more entangled. Okay, subsidiary roots and branches, they are material elements, senses, mind, and body, and everything that grows. These subsidiary roots are right, they come from the secondary root. Okay, so all these are responsible for, I mean, like when they why they are going downwards, because it shows that we are getting more and more entangled. See, they reach down to the gross level, interacting with the physical world. Okay, the further away from the primary root. See, the primary root is going upwards. Like this, it is going upward. But as the secondary roots come, they are coming down. The more they are further away from the primary root, the more temporary and material they become. The more they become entangled. So the more you go far from the primary root, the more you are entangled. Okay, so this you have to know. Okay, the primary root goes up. Okay, that is God. And but so we are, when the roots, secondary roots are coming down, it means to say that we are going away from God. We are getting more entangled in this material world. Okay, the secondary root is going down because the living entities descend into material existence, creating the world of sense perception. Means they want to enjoy sense gratification, they want to do. Okay, and subsidiary roots we saw branch further down, even more down they take us, representing the entire material creation, including bodies, minds, and elements, the physical parts they're saying. See, so in simple terms, what we understand, the primary root is God, the source which goes up. Okay, up means you're going to God. Okay, secondary root means down. The roots are going down. So it represents the living entities. So they're going down, and it means they're existing into, they're coming down to the material world. And subsidiary roots are furthermore, they are dragging us into this material manifestation. Okay, the physical world. Okay, so next we'll see in the next again. So now let's go to the second one. So this is the actually reflected tree. Okay, so it is like this, ulta. Adascha urdhvam prashtrastasya shakha guna pravruddha vishaya pravalaha adascha mulani anusantatani karmanubandhini manushaloke. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward. So you can see right in the reflection, the branches they come down and they expand outwardly. Okay, so nourished by the three modes of material nature. Like how the roots are nourished in the material world by water, this tree of the banyan tree, which represents the material world, is nourished by the three gunas. We know, right? This Prakriti is governed by the three modes. Like how a tree is nourished by water, like that, this tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of senses. The twigs are the sense objects, taste, touch, all that. Okay. The tree also has roots going down. We saw right in the previous shloka we discussed how the secondary roots are going down, down, down. And see, these are bound to the fruitive actions of the human society. So because the more they go down, they're more attached to sense gratification, because of which they get entangled more and more. Okay, so now let's see what Prabhupada says in the purport. I think I'll be able to only finish 4 today because I don't know, it's taking so long time. The branches of this banyan tree are spread in all directions. Okay, so we saw right how the branches spread in all directions now. Okay, downward. Okay, in the lower parts, okay, they are variegated manifestation of living entities like human beings, animals, horses, cows, and cats, dogs. See, so in the lower part of the branches, you can see all the living entities like human beings, animals. I'll show you, wait, okay. Here you see. See in the lower part, here you can see, right? A dog, all tiger, cow, the human beings. We can see right in the lower branches. See in the upper branches, you can see the demigods. And Brahma is there on the top. So we can see Ganesha, we can see all the demigods on the upper branches. So on the lower branches, you can see human beings, right? So that's what they're trying to say. Okay, so now let's go back. Okay, whereas in the upper parts are higher forms of living entities, the demigods, the Gandharvas, and many other higher species of life. As a tree is nourished by water, so this tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Okay, we've discussed, right? Like how a normal tree is nourished by water, this material tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Just as some tracts of land are barren and some tracts green depending on the availability of water, depending on the prevalence of particular modes of material nature, different species of life are manifested. See, so how sometimes a tree is green. See, some because that land may get water. If it gets water, the tree is lush green. If it doesn't get water, it gets dried, right? The land gets barren and the tree doesn't look. I mean, like it dries up. Okay, so it all depends on the availability of water. Like that, in this material world, we are governed by the modes. So, depending on each mode, we take a different kind of body. We've discussed that yesterday, right? Depending on a karma, we are, suppose we come in the body of a pig. So, now you can't say, no, 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 I don't want to be pig. No, no, no. No, even if you don't like, also, by the three modes of nature, you are forced to work in the body of a pig like a pig only. You can't behave like a tiger. You can't say that, no, I don't want this body now, I want to be tiger. No, not like that. Okay, that's what they're saying here. Okay, so totally it is dependent on the material nature. Different species of life are manifested. Now, the twigs of the tree are considered to be sense objects. Okay, so twigs are sense objects, means sight, smell, sound, taste, form, touch, so on. Okay, and by development of the different modes of nature, we develop different senses. See, depending on the modes we said, right? See, if you get the body of a pig, you will have some different one kind of senses where you are meant for enjoying. Like pig is like it just keeps eating unlimited anytime, so that the senses are designed like that. For tiger, if you see, it is designed in such a way that it can eat only raw flesh, blood, like that. Now if you take a goat, it doesn't eat raw flesh again, so its senses are so designed that it can just eat only grass, something like that, plants, like that. So the senses are suited for that only. Okay, so each animal, like polar bear, it sleeps for hibernates for 6 months. So it has that senses pertaining to that. Maybe in your previous janma, you wanted to sleep more, more, more. So you get senses so that you continue the same, but not maybe human body, but um, animal body where you can enjoy even more than the human body. Okay, so you sleep for 6 months. So like that. So you a different body has different sets of senses where you can enjoy or suffer. Okay, depending on your karma, and you're forced to do enjoy depending based on the three modes of nature. You cannot escape. You are forced to do it even if you don't like it. Okay. Through the senses, we enjoy different varieties of sense objects. Obviously, each vary, right? The tongue of a bird is different, and tongue of a dog is different, tongue of a human being is different. So, depending on their sense objects, they enjoy. Okay, the senses are associated with the enjoyment of different senses objects. The subsidiary roots, see, I said right from the secondary roots, subsidiary roots are coming. What are these subsidiary roots? They are attachments and aversions. Aversions means we fear. Oh my God! Oh, what will happen if I don't get this? What will happen if this person goes away from me? What will happen if I don't get this comfort? So these are aversions we get scared of. Okay, because of which we get more and more attached. We get attached to our, like family members, everything, wealth, property, land, everything, gold, money, everything. Okay, to our family members, like that. Okay, the subsidiary roots are attachments and aversions, which are byproducts of the different varieties of suffering and sense enjoyment. The tendencies toward piety and impiety are considered to develop from these secondary roots. See, this from the secondary root, that's why these subsidiary roots come, which cause more entanglement, more deeper entanglement, because these are subsidiary roots are more finer roots than secondary roots. So it's very difficult for us to get disentangled from these subsidiary. That is like the attachments and aversions. The tendencies towards piety and impiety are considered to develop from these secondary roots, okay, which spread in all directions. You saw that banyan tree down, right? The roots, how much they were spread, it's so big it was. Okay. I'll give you the chapter 15 PPT today. Please go through and you will understand much better. I'm sure that it will be difficult, really difficult for you to understand. But please keep in mind and just these points when I give you the PPT, probably if you have a look once again, you will get a better understanding. Okay, that's why I give the PPT beforehand itself. So please have a look. Yeah, for better understanding. Okay. The real root is from Brahmaloka. Okay, we said right, that is the real root, actually starting from Brahmaloka. So, and the other roots are downwards, they are going into the human planetary systems, down, down, down. After one enjoys the result of virtuous activities in the upper planetary systems, he again comes down to this earth and renews his karma. So we said, right, once the heavenly pious karma is over, he again has to come back to this earthly planet. Okay. So this planet of human beings, the earth, is considered the field of activities. Okay, so this is the place, this earth is the place where the human being does all his activities through the body. What is the field of activity? Body, right? Okay, so where he does all the activities here through the body. Okay, so this is all you can just see. See, this is the See, the actual tree is where Krishna is standing, right? So, in the reflection, we can see this tree. The original tree is here with Krishna, and through the desire of water, we see the same reflection here. Okay? There, see the topmost root we can see is where Brahma is, right? You can see. And the topmost branches, we can see the demigods, and below we can see animals and living beings. And then we can see the human beings doing economic development, religiosity, impious acts, pious acts, and the Vedic hymns, everything we can see, religiosity, sense gratification. So everything we can see, okay? See how entangled they are. The more they are going down, the more degraded they become, more attached they become. So we don't see, if you see this picture itself is so puzzling, so, like you say that, na? So confusing. We don't know where the start, where the end is, how deep we are going down, down, down. We are supposed to come up, up, up to Krishna like this. When we're going down, 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 far away from Krishna, down, 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 we are going. Okay? Okay, so now here they're showing the banyan tree. See, now this is the actual banyan tree with Krishna. That is the real tree. And this is the reflection. So where the root is there, there is where Brahma is sitting. Okay, where Brahma is sitting. And the remaining roots you can see, right, they're going down. Secondary roots are going down, down. And the branches you can see. The lower branches are called where living entities live. And little bit above are the demigods we saw, right? So this is actually the picture you have to analyze. The original is with Krishna in the spiritual world, and what we all are staying is the reflection part. Okay, so we'll try to understand here. So the reflecting medium. See, the original tree is in the spiritual world. Material world is material world is reflecting on desire. So we saw, right, what is separating? You can see a separating line, right, between the original tree and the temporary. That generally, this is the water of desire. The entities, the living entities, the souls had this desire to enjoy separate from Krishna, right? So that is what is separating them, the desire of water. Okay, that is the cause of this material, the reflected tree. Okay, perverted reflection. So what is nourishing this tree? Like how normal tree is nourished by water, now this material tree is nourished by three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now the roots, the real root of this material existence, we said, right, grows upwards towards Brahmaloka. We saw right here, see, this is the root, main root, you see, right? Where Brahma is sitting, it is going upward, upward, upward. But you see, remaining roots, they are going down, down, down. Second, these are the secondary roots, they're going down, down, down. And then you see further thin roots, right? They are subsidiary. So, but the main primary root is where Brahma is sitting. So, we have to actually go from this root upward, upward, upward. But what is happening from the primary root to the secondary roots? They're going down, down, down. Then subsidiary roots, we are further getting entangled down, down, more down we are going. Okay, so we are getting deep. So that we have to understand. Okay. So secondary roots are in the human planetary systems, Bhuloka, and grow downward and spread in all directions. Now subsidiary roots are attachments and aversions. We saw, right? Where we do sense enjoyment, suffering, everything. Okay, the tendencies towards piety and impiety are considered to develop from these secondary roots. So from the secondary roots, subsidiary roots are even more, what do you say, thick, ghana. Okay, so they make us more entangled. Okay, and what are the branches of these representing the 14 planetary systems? Okay, we have hellish planets, Bhuloka is the middle planet. Then Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Siddhaloka, we have Brahmaloka. So these are the higher planetary systems. The lower Atala, Sutala, Talatala, Patala, Rasatala, Talatala, all these planets are there. They are considered as branches. Okay. So next, what are the various manifestations you see? So in the lower part of the branches, we saw human beings, animals, horses, and everything, right? And in the upper part, we saw the demigods. See lower branches, what are we seeing? Human beings are there, right? And now see, in the upper branches, we can see the demigods. Here we can see horse. See all the demigods. One is doing Veena, Tambura. We can see Ganesha. We can see Indra on the Airavat, right? So they are on the top branches. So the human beings are in the lower branches, and even lower more animals are here below. Okay. And the green leaves are called the Vedic hymns. Okay, the ritualistic Vedas, the yagnas we were talking about, right? That. And the twigs represent sense objects. And the tips of the branches are the senses, the eyes that we have, right? Eyes, ears, nose, that. And what are the fruits? Whatever karma we get. We do some work, right? We do some work, right? So for that we get some reactions. So dharma, we do dharma, artha, kama, moksha, right? Right. And he's hopping from one branch to another, doing all these like dharma, artha, kama, moksha, all he's doing. Okay. So let's go to, where is 3? Directly it's coming to 4. Yeah, 3, 4, both are there. Okay, so 3, 4 together we'll read. So how we can come out of this entanglement? See, we saw that the banyan tree in the material world, the reflected one of the original spiritual tree, is going down, 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 and it is getting more and more entangled. So how is it that we can come out of it? See, in the picture here they are showing we have to cut that off from the root itself. Otherwise, if you just cut off that, I mean, like main thing, then only. Otherwise, where is the entanglement? Where you will cut otherwise? See, if you cut the main part itself, then everything will go. If you cut the root, the trunk part, everything will go. Attachment will go. But where if you cut in the middle one branch, if you cut or when subsidiary, there's something if you do, it's not possible in this. thick entanglement. So you have to cut that trunk itself, that main root you have to cut. That's what they're saying. That is the only way you can get disentangled. See, the real form of history cannot be perceived in this world. Okay, so we can't see the real form. This is just the reflection, the Brahma, illusion. Okay, but we people are getting enjoyed seeing that illusory apple. Okay, we don't want to eat the real apple. We are just seeing the illusory apple and we are so happy with that itself. Okay, the real form. So you can imagine when we really see the real apple and we get it and we eat it, how much more happy we are. That's why they say the spiritual world is a place of bliss, right? Unlike this material world, where you can see everything real. Here it is just illusion. Okay. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. Okay, so you can't perceive, you can't touch it, the real form of this tree. So no one can understand where it ends. So we don't know, right? We don't know where exactly. No one knows or can understand where it ends, where it begins, and where its foundation is. So we don't know these jivas like when they started, because the world, the cosmic manifestation, when pralaya comes, it gets washed away. Again, Mahavishnu brings and creates it. Again, it is washed. Like this, how many times from when it is happening and when it will end, we don't know. Okay, so we can, no one can understand where it ends, where it begins, and where its foundation is. So we can't, we don't know. But what can we do? But with determination, one must cut this tree. So we must cut this tree. Okay, fine. It's, as you see in the picture, if you cut it there, will the tree again grow? No, right? See, if you cut it like this, will it grow again? No. But if you cut the branches, again it will grow. But if you cut and from the base itself, it won't grow. So you will get detached from this material world. So doing, one must seek that place from which having once gone, one never returns. So we should go back to where? And there surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything has begun and whom everything is abiding since time immemorial. Okay, so we have to go back there. So if you go back there, you will never come back again to this material world. So the real form of this banyan tree cannot be understood in this material world. So we cannot understand how the original banyan tree exists, because we think this is the real tree. The illusory tree that we see is the real tree. So we cannot imagine how that original tree will be there in the spiritual world. Okay, so that we cannot understand in this material world. So it exists only in the spiritual world, because whatever we see here is just a reflection, because you can't see the original tree here, because everything here is a reflection of the original world, original tree. So you can't expect the original to come here in the reflected world, right? No, that is not possible. Okay. See, if you are standing on a bank of a tree, your original tree you'll see on the bank. In the water, you can't see the, you can't bring the original tree because in the reflection, and you can't place it there, right? Like that. So the original is the original. It has to be there only. It can't come into the reflection and just manifest itself. Okay. And the root of the reflected tree is upwards, we saw, and the extension of the real tree is on the other end. So we saw the remaining roots are down, 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 secondary and all. Okay, entangled within the material expansions of the tree, the extent of the tree cannot be seen. See, so many entanglements are there. We saw, right? We don't know. It is going down, down, down. Where it is ending, we can't see. Where, to what extent it is going, the tree, we don't know. Okay, so the origin of the tree also cannot be located. We don't even know where it is starting. Like we said, right? The jivas are coming. When creation is done, they're coming. Again, when pralaya is coming, they are unmanifest. So like that, they're coming, they're going. They're coming, they're going. So we don't know like how many janmas, yugas this is happening. We don't know when the start point is there, when end point is there. We don't know. Okay. But we have to identify. But however, the cause has to be traced. But we have to put an end to this, right? Even though we don't know how long this will continue and from when it is starting, but we have to, the cause has to be traced. Somehow we have to stop it, right? So the analogy is like how they're giving, like how I know I'm the son of my father, and my father is the son of his father, like that, so on, so on. Finally, we go to Brahma, and Brahma comes from Vishnu. I mean, he's generated by Garbhodakasai Vishnu. So, and Garbhodakasai Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna. So finally, the search ends there. So this is achieved. How do we know all this? Do we otherwise know normally if we don't associate with the sadhus, devotees? No, right? So, how do we know all this? We know this by the association of persons who know about the Supreme Lord. So, on acquiring this knowledge, one becomes gradually detached. So, once when they know the reality, then they get detached. Otherwise, they think, this material world is so nice. Everybody is suffering, I will also suffer. No problem. Nothing special about me, right? I'm not born from somewhere and everything. They are suffering, I'm also suffering. Big deal, nothing. Like that they feel, and they continue. They think this world, this body, I mean, like this body of disease, old age, this is all common. Everybody is getting, I am also getting. So nothing special, right? So it is happening with everybody, even I am getting. But they don't understand. They can come out of all this. They can have a body where there'll be no death, no birth, no disease, no old age. Okay. But because they don't know, they think, okay, life must go on like this. But when we come in association of devotees, we know that we can get all this. So then we start devotional service. Okay. The word Asanga Shastrena, weapon of detachment, is very significant, as the attachment for sense enjoyment and lording over material nature is very strong. After being enlightened, okay, so the word Asanga Shastrena, weapon of detachment, is very significant. So we have to get detached. The only way uh, to get disentangled, but I mean, like we are so much attached to the sense enjoyment and lording over material nature is so strong. So how do we have to cut off? With the weapon of detachment. So we have to get detached from this material world after being enlightened in the association of devotees. So, see, because when you come in the association of devotees, you get the knowledge, and then first you must surrender to the Lord. So, once one succeeds reaching the supreme abode, one never returns to this false reflected tree. Okay, so then they understand, okay, this is not our place, the original place is there, so we have to be there, not here. And they never come back to this place once they reach that place. The Supreme Lord Krishna, see, he is the original route. Okay, he is the original primary route that goes upward, upward, upward. Okay, from Brahma, that route goes upward, upward. Okay, where everything has emanated. So Lord himself, as himself says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavaha. See, I'm the origin of everything. Devotional service has to be done through Navavida Bhakti. We know the 9 stages of Bhakti, right? Then, therefore, to get out of that, therefore, to get out of the entanglement of the strong banyan tree of material life, one must surrender to Krishna. So that is the only way. You saw that thick banyan tree, right? You don't know where, what is happening, how it is happening, and it's so confusing. That entanglement, we are like that. We are so much, we are entangled deeply, and we are further going down, down, down instead of going up, up, up. Okay? Therefore, to get out of this entanglement of the strong banyan tree of material life, one must surrender to Krishna. That is the only way. As soon as one surrenders unto Krishna, one becomes detached automatically. So, you don't have to specifically get detached from the material world. You just do devotional service to Krishna, you will automatically be detached from material uh, detachment. You get detached from all these material activities. Okay. So 3.3 to 4, the same thing is depicted here. The tree is not real, okay, but a reflection of the real tree. And it is impossible to fully understand the real tree. We saw, right? So we can't understand the real tree because the real tree is in the original world. So we are just seeing the reflection. So we will not be able to understand like when it has come, how it has come, when it will end. So we don't know. But what we can understand, the solution is we know we have to put an end to this. How? We cut down the tree with a weapon of detachment. Okay, so then one must go beyond the material tree and surrender to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so this we saw. See, why real form of tree we cannot understand. So we saw, right, why we cannot understand? Because the root is going upward. Okay, and the downwards, all the secondary roots are coming down. So we are getting so much entangled in this material world that we are not able to understand the real tree. Okay, we are so much engrossed in sense gratification, so much we are going down, that we don't want to even hear about God. We are going just down. Okay, and we don't know like where the starting is. We discussed, right? We don't know where the starting is, like when we started, when it will end. The jivas are coming and going, coming and going. At the time of creation, they come, and at that time of pralaya, they go. So we don't know anything, but we only know how to find out the cause. But we know that we have to put an end to all this. Okay, how? You, when you come in the association of devotees, you know that with the weapon of detachment, you have to first surrender to the Lord. Okay, under the association of devotees, surrender to the Lord and practice devotional service. Gradually, you will know that you will come out automatically. If you do devotional service, you will automatically come out. Okay. See, detachment is the only way out, the weapon. Okay, how? Find a devotee who is in knowledge, and then with the help of them, you surrender to the Lord, and then you practice devotional service, and then you go back to the eternal spiritual abode. Okay, so let's do 15.5. निर्माण मोह जित संग दोषा आध्यात्म नित्या विनिवृत्त कामा द्वंद्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुख दुःख संज्ञैर् गच्छन्ति अमूढा पदम अव्ययम तत्. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. So, this verse describes the process of surrendering. Okay, firstly, one should not be deluded by pride. Okay, when the conditioned soul thinks he, not the Lord, is the Lord of material nature, surrender to the Lord becomes difficult. Okay, see, when people they think that because I am doing everything in this material world, I am able to get profit in my business. Like I was able to secure the first rank in my school, I in my college or in business or wherever. Okay, so we should not have that pride. Then he will not be able to surrender to the Lord because he thinks everything is based on his effort. He is doing the, he is putting the effort, so that is why everything is possible. He does not know that it is his effort and the sanction of the Lord that is making him progress. Okay, but he doesn't understand that. Okay, so that time he cannot surrender. When he is thinking that, oh, because of me only everything is happening, he cannot surrender to the Lord. Only when he thinks that he is not capable will he surrender to the Lord, right? So, cultivation of real knowledge makes him cognizant that the Supreme Person is the Lord. Okay? The process of surrender begins here. One always expecting some honor in this material world, see, cannot surrender to the Supreme. So, those are always expecting, like they always want to be on the top. They don't accept the supremacy of the Lord. They only want to be on the top. Okay, they only want honor, they only want respect, everything. So nothing for the Lord. Okay, so such people, they cannot surrender to the Lord. So pride is due to illusion, as although one comes here, stays for a brief time, and then goes away. He has a foolish notion that he is the Lord of the world. So actually, he stays in this material world for small amount of time. So in that small amount of time, he has that foolish notion that he is the Lord of the world. So Lord means he's the Lord forever, right? But in our pride, we stay in a small span of this much time, And then in that span, we think that we are the Lord of the world. Okay. The associations caused by familial, social, and national affections are all illusions. See, all these are Brahma actually. Because in this Janma, we have one set of relatives. Maybe in our past Janma, we had one set of relatives as a dog. Maybe in the previous Janma, we had as a dog, cat, like that, many. So, who are our real parents? Who are our real relatives? Who are our real parents? Who are our real society? Okay, so because we are in this human janma, now we are concerned with our human parents, human wife, human husband, like that. But maybe in the last janma we were attached, we were in a dog, were born as a dog. We had dog parents, dog wife, dog husband, dog children. So who are the actual parents, or who are the actual family members? So all this is illusion, we don't know the fact. So because we don't know, we are in ignorance, we accept them and we get attached to our family or property, thinking that all these will save us at the time of death. Nobody can save us at the time of death except the Lord. Because He has been there throughout all the 84 lakh janmas that we have taken till now. He was the only friend who accompanied us as super soul, even in the worm as a stool. Nobody else accompanies us. He is the only one who accompanies us in any janma. But we forget Him and we get attached in every janma that we come. We get attached to the family members that we belong to and we forget about the Lord. Okay, so detaching from these, one has to develop spiritual knowledge. So we have to get detached from all these. Does not mean that we are asking you to leave all these. Okay, so bring all these, but put Krishna in the center. Dovetail all your material activities to Krishna. Okay, it's just a matter of change in consciousness. That's all. There is not much change required. Okay, the mundaner should differentiate what is his own and what is not his. Okay, so he should be in a position, the normal person should be able to distinguish what is his own and what is not his. Okay, so then he will understand, like sometimes, like people do ugra karma to they, because they don't know the goal of life is to go back to Godhead. What for them the goal of life is to enjoy material life comfortably, earn more money, and show off to everybody that I'm the wealthiest person and I'm the most comfortable and I'm living in the most luxurious apartment, palace. I have the most of comforts. So that is what they want to show. Okay, but when he comes to the real understanding, when he becomes a devotee, he understands that the dualities like happiness and distress will be, he takes them on the same level. Like a material person, if he's happy, he jumps into the air. If he's sad, he goes down into the earth, he goes. Okay, and he cannot handle pleasure and pain on the same level. But a devotee, he handles the dualities on an equal level. He's steady. Okay, because he does devotional service, he takes everything on a steady level. He doesn't get excited when he is praised, and when he's insulted, he doesn't get feel sad. Okay, like that. So once in full knowledge, he's able to surrender himself to the Supreme Lord. So therefore, he surrenders once he comes to the correct knowledge. See, who will be able to surrender to the Supreme Person? Nirmana. So one who is free from false prestige or pride. So who does not think, who when he thinks he is this body, he will not be able to surrender, because when he thinks he is this body, he will do sense gratification. He wants everything for himself. Okay, so he should be, and then he thinks that everything is that the fruits, the results that I'm getting is because of my hard work, and he thinks I don't have to surrender to anybody. Okay, so but such a person cannot surrender to the Lord. But once he knows he's free from false pride, he knows that he's not the body, he's the soul, and his swarupa is to serve the Lord. Then he goes far from false prestige or pride. Then he surrenders to the Lord. Okay, moha is freedom from illusion. Jita Sangha Dosha, freedom from false associations. He doesn't associate with all these material people, only devotees. Okay, Adhyatma Nityam. understand the eternal. So when he understands everything spiritually, Dvandver Vimuktaha, he is free from dualities. Vinivrutak Kamaha, so he's done with material lust and unbewildered. So he is no longer lusty, he does not want to do anything for his sense gratification. He has no all lusty desires, he does not want to earn more, enjoy more, be comfortable more, nothing like that. Okay, so he's like everything he's steady, a devotee is steady. Okay, next is Purushottam Yoga. How would we get transmigrated from one body to another? Okay, so 15.6 न तद्भाष्यते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धामा paramam mama. That abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon nor by electricity. One who reaches it will never return to this material world. So here you see, right? So this material world you can see is in darkness. So you go to the spiritual world, it is fully bright. Why? Because Krishna himself is the from the body of Krishna, the effulgence Brahmajyoti comes, because of which all the planets are illuminated, and even the sun gets its illumination from the Brahmajyoti of Krishna. Okay, so like that's what they are saying here. See, in the spiritual sky, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, fire, or electricity. It's because all the planets are self luminous. We have only one planet in this universe, the sun, which is self luminous, but all the planets in the spiritual sky are self luminous. So we have only one planet, that is sun, that is self luminous. And like that, all the planets in Vaikunta or Goloka are self luminous, because Krishna, from them, Krishna, they get all the effulgence. We see the shining effulgence of all these planets called Vaikuntas constitutes the shining sky known as Brahma Jyoti. See, from Brahma Jyoti that light comes, and all the planets are like shining like that. Actually, the effulgence is emanating from the planet of Krishna, Goloka Vrindavan. So part of that shining effulgence is covered by the Mahat Tattva, the material world. So we discussed, right, in the Mahat Tattva, this light cannot enter. It is covered by the Mahat Tattva. So that is why our Earth, these planets, the material planets are in a dark region. So in the daytime we have sun, and nighttime we have to use electricity. So major portion of the shining sky is full of spiritual planets. Okay, so we said, right, the spiritual planet is 3/4 and material is 1/4. So the 3/4 of the spiritual planet is fully shining with all these strands and this Brahma Jyoti. With all in that light, you will see all these spiritual planets. Vaikunthas are there. Our main planet is out of the Vaikunthas, main Vaikunta planet is Goloka Vrindavana. So as long as a living entity is in this dark material world, he is in conditional life. As soon as he reaches the spiritual sky, by cutting through this false perverted tree of material world, he becomes liberated with no chance of coming back here. Okay, in the conditional life, the living entity tends to lord over the material world. Okay, he thinks that he is the lord of the material world, he is the enjoyer. Okay, so he does everything for his sense gratification. On entering the spiritual kingdom after liberation, he becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord, enjoying eternal bliss, eternal life, and full of knowledge. Satchidananda. So one should desire to transfer himself to that eternal world. For one too much attached to this material world, detachment becomes difficult. Only Krishna consciousness and association with Krishna conscious devotees can help him. Just as the saffron attire is not sufficient, he must become attached to the Lord in devotion. See, just by putting a garb of a saffron attire is not important, because many people nowadays, just to get food, they put this saffron robe and they go begging for food just to fill their belly. That is not sufficient. He must become attached to the Lord in devotion. He should do devotional service. Paramam Mama means every nook and corner belongs to the Supreme Lord. The spiritual world is Paramam, is the highest. Paramam means it's the highest, full of six opulences. The Katha Upanishad also confirms that in the spiritual world there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, or stars. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. The entire spiritual sky is illuminated by the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. Okay. He's self-illuminating. I mean, like the Brahmajyoti that is coming from Krishna. Such a supreme abode can be attained only by surrender, no other means. Okay, the same thing they are saying here. So 15.7. Mamaivamsho jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatana manashastrani indriyani prakriti stani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So this verse is telling that, giving the identity of the living being. See, the living entity is separate from the Lord. Krishna is trying to say both are individual. Okay, so the living entity is the fragmental part. So he's a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord eternally. So it is not that he assumes individuality in his conditioned life, and in the liberated state he becomes one with the Supreme Lord. Because what do the people impersonalists believe? Now they are in the material world, they are separate, but after liberation, when they go into the Brahma Jyoti, they become one with God. They think they lose their individuality and they become God, they think. No, here Krishna is clearly saying, no, he is eternally fragmented. So it is clearly said Sanatanaha. Okay, he's separate, he's an individual, he's eternally fragmental, apart. Okay, according to the Vedic version, the Supreme Lord manifests and expands himself in innumerable expansions, of which primary expansions are called Vishnu Tattva and the secondary expansions are called living entities or Jiva Tattva. The Vishnu Tattva is a personal expansion and the living entities are separated expansions. So Vishnu Tattva means are like Lord Rama, Narsimha, Vishnumurti are all the predominant deities in Vaikuntha planets. The separated expansions are the living entities, jivas. They are eternal servitors. So the personal expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the individual entities are always present. So they are always eternal. Okay, both jivas and Vishnu Tattvas, they are eternal. Okay, the separated expansions of the living entities have their identities. Okay, they're separate, they have their identity. As fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, the living entities also have fragmental portions of his qualities. Okay, so we already discussed, right? We all have the same qualities of the Lord, but in quantity we vary. That is what is Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. Okay, we have all the qualities that Lord has. Okay, but quantity is not there. We are very small. Anu, Krishna is Vibhu. So out of all these qualities, independence, right? The soul is given independence. It can either be in the spiritual world or it can be in the material world. Okay. So if it chooses the correct independence, then it will be able to go to the spiritual world. If it misuses it, it will be caught in Maya. Okay. So in either case, he is qualitatively eternal. Either ways, he is eternal as the Supreme Lord is. So in his liberated state, he is freed from this material condition. Okay. If he gets liberated, he will go to the spiritual world. And he is under the engagement of transcendental service of the Lord. Now he forgets the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Okay, being in the material world in ignorance. The living entities, not only human beings and the cats and the dogs, but even the greater controllers of the material world, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and even Vishnu, are all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. So they are all also part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. But they are like how we are separated entities, they are like expansions of the Lord. Okay? They are Vishnu Tattva, we are Jiva Tattva. They are all eternal, not temporary manifestations. So we are not temporary, we are also permanent, we are souls, right? We are eternal, all eternal. The word karshati means struggling or grappling hard is very significant. So the conditioned soul is bound up right here in the material world by these three modes. He's just like bound by these, shackled by iron chains, like he's bound up by the false ego, and the mind is the chief agent which is driving him in this material existence. Okay, so he is bound up, like he's like tied up with ropes. Okay, because of this false ego. Why? He thinks he's this body and he wants everything for himself. So he wants to do more of sense gratification. More sense gratification means more, he gets attached to this material world. So for which he have reactions. The more activities he does, when more attachments. So because of which he has to bear all the enjoyment or suffering. For that, he has to come back again to this material world. So he'll be roaming in this chain of birth and death. Okay. So when the mind is in the mode of goodness, his activities are good. So this jiva, when he does activities in the mode of goodness, his activities are good. When in the mode of passion, his activities are troublesome. And when the mind is in the mode of ignorance, he travels to lower species of life. The conditioned soul is covered by the material body with the mind and the senses, and when he is liberated, this material covering perishes. Okay, so actually the soul, when he comes to this material world, the soul takes a covering, a dress, a material body. Like that, when he gets liberated, the same soul, when it goes to the spiritual world, it takes a spiritual body. Okay, like how it has a material body here, the soul, when it goes to the spiritual world, it takes a spiritual body. So with that spiritual body, he can hear and speak to God face to face, and he can understand the Supreme Personality as he is. From Smriti also it is understood, in the spiritual planets, everyone lives in bodies featured like the Supreme Personality of God. So we saw, right, people in the what is it? Same form as the Lord. They look like they have four hands, they are the Shankar, Chakra, Gada, Padma. So they look like the Supreme Personality of Godhead only. So they have the same bodily features like Vishnu. As far as bodily construction is concerned, there is no difference between the part and parcel living entities and the expansion. So all are eternal. That's why they are saying there is no difference. The words Mamai Vamsha are also very significant. Means fragmental. Mama Amsha is saying, okay, my part and parcels. Okay, the fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is not like some material broken part. Okay, the spirit cannot, we know that, right? The spirit cannot be cut into pieces. Okay, so the fragmental portion is eternal. Though it is a part, we may think that, oh, part, so many parts of jivas are there. So everything now Krishna is broken into many parts, and no more of Krishna. No, not like that. Though we are broken, I mean, like fragmental part, it is like we are eternal. We cannot be cut into pieces. Okay, so each and every individual body possesses the fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord. Dehino asmin yata dehe. That fragmental portion, when liberated from bodily entanglement, revives its original spiritual body in the spiritual sky, in the spiritual planet, and enjoys the association with the Supreme Lord. It is, however, understood here that the living entity, being the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is qualitatively one with the Lord. See, qualitatively it is one, not quantitatively. Qualitatively it is one, just as the parts and parcel of gold are and also gold. See, if you see a small gold ornament and a whole gold mine, so quality wise, if you see, gold is gold, right? Even if it is in an ornament or if it's in a gold mine. But only thing is, the gold ornament may be small, the gold mine is big in quantity, like that. Okay, so that analogy is given. So the same thing is explained here. The original person, there are parts and parcels of Krishna. So living entities belong to Supreme Lord in the spiritual world. So current position, now we are struggling hard with our mind and senses in this material world. So 15.8. Shariram yad avapnoti yadcha api.
Mataji,
Hare Krishna ma? Yes, Mataji?
Mataji, shall we continue tomorrow, Mataji?
Okay, fine. Sure, Mataji. Sure, we'll do that. So from
Even
15.8, yeah.
even Prabhuji left the meeting.
Oh, okay. He left, is it? Okay, then we'll stop, ma. Oh, it's 8:05, is it? I'm sorry, I didn't see the time. Okay, so we'll stop.